Alright, so Guillermo del Toro. Where do I even start? He's one of my absolute favourite directors. Top tier, no question. There's just no one like him. Everything he makes, you can feel how much love, craft, and imagination went into it. You can see the fingerprints of a true artist in every frame. From his incredible monster designs and the way he uses colour and light. And even the way he tells stories about outsiders and dreamers. And honestly, right now, I think Del Toro is currently in his prime. The man's always been a visionary, but between Pinocchio, Nightmare Alley, and now Frankenstein, he's really hit this creative stride where everything just feels like pure Del Toro. There's no studio interference, no compromise, just him making exactly what he wants to make. So today, we're ranking every Guillermo del Toro film, from my least favourite to number one. And just to be clear, I love most of these movies, even the lower ones. They're still interesting in some way, because this guy doesn't make bad films. Even the ones I don't like, I can find some appreciation in one way or another. He makes Del Toro films. Oh, and by the way, if you want to hear my full thoughts on Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which, spoiler for the list, I absolutely adored, I've already got a full video on that one, link in the description. Alright, let's do this thing. Okay, let's just rip the bandage off. Pacific Rim is the one Del Toro film that just doesn't work for me. It's not my thing. It's big, it's loud, and yeah, it's got robots punching monsters, which should be awesome, but honestly, to me, it feels very generic. You can tell Del Toro had fun with this concept, but it feels so generic that it feels like anyone could have directed it. It's just full of cliches and action tropes. The human stories don't land, the dialogue is clunky, and honestly, I can't feel Del Toro in it. Like, where's that emotional core? Where's that gothic, poetic Del Toro touch that turns monsters into metaphors? Don't get me wrong, it definitely has cool moments. The creature designs are solid, and you can tell he put a lot of care into making the kaiju feel real and physical. But overall, it's the only real Del Toro film that feels hollow to me. I honestly can't figure out what compelled him to make this one. Now don't get me wrong, Hellboy 2 looks amazing. The creature designs, the sets, the world building, all top tier. This is Del Toro having a blast visually, but story-wise, it feels a little half-baked. There are so many interesting storylines and themes in here. Hellboy's identity, his place in between worlds, and yet most of it just kind of gets dropped. I would have loved to see him wrestle more deeply with who he is, but the film just keeps going for that goofy, quippy tone instead. And look, some of that tone can work. Some of the humour lands, but it's just so constant to a point where it just feels silly. It's got that same energy you would expect from a modern Marvel film that would come out today. That said, this thing does look incredible. The design of the Golden Army itself, the troll market, all that stuff is pure Del Toro magic. I just wish the story matched that craftsmanship. I don't hate it, it's fine, but it's one I rarely feel like revisiting. Alright, so Mimic is a weird one. The first time I saw it, I really didn't think much of it at all. It just felt really generic. But watching it recently for this video, I actually came around to it. You can tell this was early on in Del Toro's career. And it's one of those movies where you can clearly tell the studio had a big hand in what was made and what wasn't. But despite all that, you can see flashes of Del Toro coming through. The atmosphere, the obsession with decay, and the use of light and shadow. The first half is definitely the best part. It is riveting. It plays like a noir-inspired investigation thriller. And that tone is really interesting. You've got these great moody visuals, this sense of mystery. And then in the second half, it just kind of turns into a straight-up creature feature. It's not amazing by any means. And it does feel quite safe compared to what he would go on to do later. But it is solid. The practical effects are cool, the suspense works, and you can tell Del Toro was already thinking later down the line what kind of films would define his work. It is a little bit rough around the edges, but I liked it. A pretty underrated gem. Crimson Peak is just one of those movies that is just gorgeous to look at. Like, if you put it on mute, it's still one of the best looking gothic films ever made. The costumes, set designs, the colour palette, everything looks like it was painted by hand. Del Toro commits completely to the gothic vibe here. It's all decaying mansions, candlelight, and tragic romance. It's basically his love letter to classic gothic literature. The story itself, though, it's fine. It starts off strong with this mysterious, ghostly setup, but it does kind of lose momentum as it goes along. The mystery isn't bad, but it's not exactly surprising either. That said, I do still enjoy this movie for what it is. It's such a vibe. You don't really watch Crimson Peak for the plot. You watch it for the atmosphere, the texture of it all. It's haunting, elegant, and full of that Del Toro romanticism, even if the story doesn't completely land. Alright, this one's kind of nostalgic for me. The first Blade was a movie I watched way too young, like definitely younger than I should have been, and it scared the hell out of me. But it also made me fall in love with vampires. So yeah, I have a soft spot for this series. Blade 2 isn't as good as the first, but it's still really entertaining. The story is weaker, it does feel more like a side quest than an actual sequel, but it has got some awesome stuff going for it. First off, the villain, Nomak, absolute standout. Easily one of Del Toro's most Frankenstein characters. You can see his fingerprints all over this one. The tragic monster theme and the fascination with beauty and decay. Wesley Snipes is Blade and he's still a total badass. Maybe even more charismatic than he was in the first one, honestly. The action's great, though yeah, some of that early 2000s CGI hasn't aged the best. It's a little PlayStation 2 beat 'em ups in parts. But overall, Blade 2 is just a fun, stylish action horror hybrid. You can see Del Toro's playing around with ideas he'd later refine in films like Hellboy and Shape of Water. Not a bad flick, really fun. Now this one, Kronos, is where you can really see Del Toro finding his voice. It's his first film and it's such a confident debut. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's quietly haunting and deeply personal. It's essentially his take on immortality and obsession. Classic Del Toro themes, but told in this really grounded and melancholic way. You can already see how much he cared about mixing horror with tenderness, which would become one of his trademarks. It's not perfect, of course. It's a small film with a modest budget. But even then, the craftsmanship is still there. The visual storytelling, the attention to detail, and the empathy for the monster. All of it. And I love how it sets the tone for his career. You can trace a straight line from Kronos to The Devil's Backbone to Pan's Labyrinth to The Shape of Water. It's like a seed that grew into all of his later masterpieces. Really good film. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Now this is where Del Toro really starts to show what he can do with a bigger budget and his own voice. Hellboy is awesome. It's imaginative, it's weird, it's full of heart, and it's got that classic Del Toro feel of humour and melancholy. Ron Perlman is Hellboy. No one else could have played him. He's funny, sarcastic, and surprisingly vulnerable at times. And what I love is that Del Toro treats this as a genuine character piece, not just a superhero flick. The world building is insane. All the creature designs, the gothic design, and the mythology. It feels like something he's been dreaming up since childhood. You can tell he really poured himself into this one. If I had one nitpick though, it's that it feels a little bit restrained by the comic book format. You can see Del Toro wanting to push it into something more darker and emotional, which is probably why Golden Army feels more experimental, even if that one didn't totally work for me. But as a complete film, it's a total blast. It hits that sweet spot between pulpy action fun and genuine artistry. It's one of his most rewatchable films, for sure. Honestly, this feels like Del Toro fully in his element. I absolutely love this film. It's dripping with style. Every shot is immaculate and he just lets you sit in that atmosphere. There's this slow, confident rhythm to it that I find so compelling. Yes, it's kinda long, and yes, it is kinda slow, but goddamn do I love it. This is Del Toro owning that noir vibe, that old Hollywood tragedy with a modern edge. It's got that rise and fall story that I always love, and it's done with such finesse. Bradley Cooper as well is fantastic here. His character does start out kind of hollow, just this charming con man who knows how to work a crowd, but that's kind of the point. It's all about watching that mask start to crack. His rise and fall is riveting. It's that slow, inevitable slide into ruin that makes for such a great noir tragedy. There's this pure lust for wealth driving everything, and you can't look away from how far he's willing to go to get it. And I'm saying it, easily one of Del Toro's best looking films. The camera work is gorgeous. The lighting, the set designs, the textures, it's just a feast. Every shot feels deliberate, every shadow means something. And you can tell Del Toro feels comfortable in this world. And knowing that Del Toro is continuing with these kinds of films, that gets me seriously excited. This one's just good. Great film. First off, can we all just agree how badass this title is? Like, if I saw this on a DVD as a kid, I would have been picking that up straight away. And I've seen this a couple times now, but it's not exactly what I thought it would be. It's not really a horror film. Not in the conventional sense, anyway. It's more of a character-driven drama that just so happens to have a ghost in it. And honestly, that just makes it even more powerful. Every single character here feels fleshed out. No one's just background. Everyone has a story and they all get their moment. The writing is exceptional. I genuinely think that this might be Del Toro's best screenplay. The mystery is so tight, and the emotional depth of the characters makes you forget you're watching a ghost story. You're so wrapped up in the personal stories, in the heartbreak and loss, that the supernatural almost becomes secondary, and that's what makes it great. Like any good ghost story, it's not about fear, it's about tragedy, about memory, about the things that linger when life moves on. It's an emotional film, and it isn't an easy watch, but it's such a beautiful one. Also, I've got to mention, I love the little touch at the end just before the credits start to roll, where it says, "To my parents." It's so personal and tender, and it perfectly sums up the heart behind the whole film. It's Del Toro at his most intimate, and I think that's why it's one of his best. This is great. I mean, incredible. Insane that this got dropped on Netflix. Del Toro's visuals were made for the big screen. Every frame here deserves to be projected huge. But you know what? If streaming means we get more films like this, then so be it. This is just a gorgeous blend of stop motion and practical effects, all the while telling a very dark, very emotional fantasy that is still family friendly. That's such a delicate balance, and Del Toro nails it. He's a master of tone, and I love what he did with the story. Pinocchio has been adapted a million times at this point, but somehow he makes it feel completely his own while staying true to the source material. That's such a tricky thing to pull off. His version is darker, sadder, but it still has that core of innocence that makes this story timeless. The animation is breathtaking. Every frame feels handcrafted, which it probably is, and you can see the love and effort that went into every tiny detail. You can tell this is a work of an artist who truly cares. What's really exciting to me is the direction that Del Toro is taking with his career right now. These rich, emotionally complex fables told through stunning craftsmanship. He was made to tell these kinds of stories. I've seen this one a few times now, and I love it more every time I watch it. It's a masterpiece. Alright, top 3. This one's funny because I didn't get it the first time I saw it. I thought it was fine, maybe a little overrated. And now I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? It's a masterpiece. This film basically encapsulates everything I love about Del Toro as a filmmaker. That sense of magic, that childlike wonder, the creativity, the emotional depth. He has this amazing ability to tell dark and brutal stories through the eyes of innocence. And it gives everything this tragic, bittersweet beauty. The way he captures childhood, that sense of imagination and naivety, it's unmatched. And even though Pan's Labyrinth is extremely violent and extremely emotionally heavy, there's always that flicker of hope. And that's pure Del Toro. And of course, the fantasy sequences are next level. The Pale Man, absolutely terrifying. One of the most iconic creatures ever put to screen. But honestly, what surprises me every time I rewatch this is how well the dramatic side holds up. It's deeply emotional and is hard to watch at times, but that's what makes it work. It doesn't hold back. It's emotionally mature, it's beautiful, it's powerful. It's one of those films that hits harder every time. A masterpiece, no question. This was probably my most anticipated film of the decade, and honestly, there couldn't have been a more perfect director to handle it. Del Toro's been dreaming about making Frankenstein since he was a kid, and you can feel the passion in every frame. This isn't just another monster movie, it's his life's work. There is so much love and care put into every intricate detail, from the flawless direction to the performances, which are all just phenomenal, by the way. Visually, it's everything you would expect from a Del Toro film. It looks amazing, but what really floored me was just how emotional this is. There were moments that it genuinely brought me to tears. Just pure, raw emotion pouring out of the screen. It understands Frankenstein better than any of the adaptations that have come before it. It's about creation, compassion, and the search for meaning. All those classic Del Toro themes, but refined into something monumental. I have got a whole other video talking about this in depth, so if you'd like to hear my extended thoughts on that, I'll leave a link down in the description. But yeah, this is my favourite film of the year so far. It's a masterpiece. And finally, my number one, Shape of Water. Love is love. This is a masterpiece, plain and simple. There's no other way around it. Everything in this film is intentional. Every tiny detail, every note of music, and every bit of design, it's just perfection. Only Del Toro could make a film like this and not have it come off as goofy. Like, on paper, this shouldn't work. But in his hands, it becomes this stunning, romantic, and deeply emotional piece of art. It balances heartbreak and whimsy so effortlessly. This film hit me in a way I was never expecting. It's honestly one of the greatest love stories ever put to film, in my opinion. And it's weird to me saying that is considered a hot take. To me, this is everything I love about Del Toro as a director. His ability to just whisk you away, to make you feel completely enveloped in this world. It's magic. The romance feels cinematic in that old Hollywood way. Elegant, timeless, but with a modern twist that gives it so much heart. Sally Hawkins is phenomenal here. Easily one of the best performances of the 2010s. And I love that all the heroes of the story are outsiders. People who don't fit in, who've been overlooked. Watching them get the ending they deserve hits so hard every time. This film has heart, style, and meaning. Everything that defines Del Toro's best work. Devastatingly beautiful cinema. So yeah, that's my complete ranking of every Guillermo del Toro film. Now I want to hear from you. What's your favourite Del Toro film? Do you think Shape of Water deserves the top spot? Or are you more of a Pan's Labyrinth person? And if you've seen Frankenstein, let me know what you thought. I could talk about that movie all day. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, like, subscribe, and go watch some movies.